Okay. Hi, Nana.
Hi, Mommy.
How you doing?
Good, tired. Monday mornings are always rough.
You're in the final stretch.
Don't talk about it.
Well, listen, 2 pieces of advice. One, make getting a full-time job your full-time job, but also enjoy these last weeks of senior year. You can't get it back. So enjoy it. Don't stress about it. Don't be too anxious. The job thing will happen because what do I say? Failure is not an option. So you have to get a job and you will. But enjoy this. You've got the kind of friends you have been looking for your whole life. So enjoy them and have fun. Go out. Have a good time. That's my advice.
Going out tomorrow.
Okay, good. Okay, so I want to tell you a story. I don't think I've shared this with you yet about, we've done a lot of talking about sorority rush and sorority life and all of that. And, I do get some feedback from people who don't get it, who weren't in Greek life, who thinks it's, quote, stupid. And I'm going to tell you why it's not stupid. So I pledged with, I think, 40-something girls in 1991. And we were close. I mean, we pledged a lot longer than you. We started pledging, bid day was the first day of classes. So it was August. We got initiated in February. So it was a long time. We went through hell together and we really became close. And even like when I've been to a couple of reunions, and the people that weren't like in my quote friend group, like we're still pledge sisters, like we're still close, like let's go do this together. Let's walk down to the house together, whatever. So the last time I saw my friend Tracy was in 2009. I was in Gainesville for AEFI's National Centennial, because, we were founded on October 24th. The year was 1909. So 2009. That was the last time I saw my friend Tracy, and I had her phone number in my phone because she picked me up at the Gainesville airport in her minivan because she raised 4 children. So of course she had a minivan. So anyway, last week, Ryan was going to Tampa for the basketball games. The first one was really fun. And the game was going to end at like midnight. He was there with friends. And he and I were both in agreement that driving back in the middle of the night to Gainesville, it's like a 2.5, 3-hour drive, I think. Not a great idea. So I said, give me 5 minutes. I'll call you back. So I called my friend Tracy, who I have not seen since 2009. I'm like, hey, do you still live in Tampa? And she said, yeah. I said, I got a favor to ask you. She's like, how many? Doors are open. Bring them on over. And then it ended up 2 of her kids were actually going to the game. So Ryan's friend gave them a ride back and he had a place to stay for the night. So he was safely off the road. But that's the beauty of being in a sorority. So I hope that as you graduate and go on, that even the people that you weren't as close to in your pledge class or in the house, there's a network out there of people in AFI. There's a community and it's a bond. And so no matter what, you'll always have that. So that's just a little bit, as we get close to graduation, a little bit of my weepy advice.
Thanks.
Any social media trends that you're seeing that are fun? And are you seeing the one about the bus, the dancers getting on the...
behind on that.
No, I've been watching it for like 2 weeks. I'm obsessed with it. They're so cute.
Behind.
I'm not behind. I've been watching it since it came out. I love them. They're so cute.
I would have to say I've been obsessed with Punch the Monkey. That has been like my thing.
Well, that's also not new, so there.
Well, yeah, but we haven't talked about it on this podcast.
Fair. But I love Punch the Monkey too. He's
so
cute.
Anything with Punch the Monkey. He has a girlfriend now. I'm so excited for him. I'm just obsessed.
Okay. All right. And I sent you a TikTok of this girl that's doing some funny shtick, so check her out. She's very funny. I
looked at it.
Yeah, she's very funny. All right, well, good. Here comes our guest. Welcome to the Social Dialogue Podcast. We're a mother-daughter team, both working in the world of social media management.
Join us as we share our different perspectives on life today, including trends, fashion, friendships, and career, and how social media impacts it all. Together, we bring 2 perspectives to one conversation.
I'm Shane.
And I'm Jenna.
And we're excited to bring you this new episode of the Social Dialogue Podcast. Welcome to the Social Dialogue Podcast. Jenna and I have a very special guest this week that we have both grown up knowing. Lauren Popkin Herschthal is a 3rd-generation owner and director of Blue Star Camps. Blue Star, This one's I'm gonna cry during your bio. That's how emotional I get about Camp Blue Star, located in the Blue Ridge Mountains, just outside Asheville, North Carolina, is a Jewish sleepaway camp for kids as young as rising first graders all the way up to rising 10th graders, and the camp offers employment opportunities beyond that. Since 1948, Blue Star has offered campers the best of childhood, authentic summertime fun in a traditional Jewish camp setting. Those of us who have experienced the Blue Star magic know that it's a gift that keeps on giving throughout our lifetime. My mother was a camper 1957 to 59. I was a camper 1983 to 89. Jenna went from 2013 through 2019 and then served as a member of the staff in the summer of 21. Did I get all your dates right, Jenna?
Yeah, I think so.
I went back through the scrapbook because I didn't remember what date you started. So I went back through the scrapbook.
I don't
So
remember.
do you want to kick us off, Jenna?
Yeah. So as part of camp, and I think one of my favorite parts of camp is that you are forced to like put away your phone, put away all your screens, disassociate from technology and just the craziness of the world, especially right now. And we were kind of like wondering like what are the benefits of like not being on a screen, especially at camp?
I mean, it's incredibly beneficial, obviously. The research and the data is coming out about what, having phones from a young age is sort of, doing to kids and doing to people in general, right? So, I mean, I think we see that there's some pushback and kids will be like, what do you mean you're not taking my phone? And sometimes even parents are like, I need to be able to talk to my kid and hear what's happening. But really, all the good stuff happens when we shut it off. So what I think we're seeing in terms of all the data of like anxiety, like rise in anxiety and comparison and all of the mental health effects, it seems to me, and from my limited research, that it's really like, it's a lack of connection, So one of the things that camp does so naturally is that you're just part of a community and you're making friends and it's that face-to-face interaction. And it's being in a real, in a real life situation instead of a virtual one. So it's giving kids the opportunity to experience themselves like in the real world, and obviously being, digitally fluent is important, but it has its place. Yeah. So camp is incredibly important in that it's giving kids that opportunity still. And there are not many places where that can happen anymore. So
Yeah.
Are there other camps out there that allow kids to have their technology at camp?
mostly what I'm hearing is all camps have shut it down.
That's good.
And mostly what I'm hearing is that that's what parents want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like parents don't know, are in a situation where they can't really take it away, day to day in regular life because they need to know where their kid is. They need to, organize picking them up from school. And they've got things to do. They can't be playing with their kid all the time. All of the parental anxieties around like your kids being outside and being safe to play and, the way that we did when we were kids. So they can't really be watching them all the time. So sometimes that's a way to sort of provide some activity and entertainment. But I think that having one part of the year at least where it's not part of the day to day is considered very valuable.
Yeah. And there's no time at camp for that, to lay around and look at your phone. I mean,
Right.
we used to say, a day at camp is like a whole week. There's so many activities, there's so many things you're doing. And then you're so tired at night, you don't need anything to help you fall asleep. And,
True.
there's nothing like a camp sleep. Nothing. I try and sleep with my windows open as much as I can because it's
Aw.
like sleeping with fresh air, sleeping with camp. And then, Jenna, I didn't tell you this. We had a terrible storm last night. We lost power.
I was in a storm here, but it
Right.
probably
Yeah.
was
So
bad.
the generator's on. So I had to close the windows because it was too loud. And then your brother was driving back from the basketball game. So I couldn't sleep because I was tracking
Have
him.
you heard from him?
Yeah, I talked to him. Yeah. Bad basketball game last night. But I can remember when Jenna was little, probably 4th, 5th grade, and we had to find some kind of iPod situation so she could bring music, but that was
Right.
allowed at camp. So, I remember her bringing that in, it was a big deal back then. I have something, even though it does nothing but play music.
Right.
But it was, it was allowed and it was good. And then they'd come home and I remember them getting in the car and being like, give me my phone, and they had to catch up with everyone. For that first drive home back from camp, they were just like normal kids. They had been off their screen. It was like detox. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do think of it as detox, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that the first few days of camp are harder for kids because of that, honestly.
Yeah.
I think it's like they're like,
Absolutely.
"Oh my God, I'm in constant interaction. Like there's nothing to retreat to." But you know, they get the hang of it. They
Absolutely.
remember that they're just humans, you know.
Yeah.
They can talk to other people and connect and play and yeah.
Yeah. So, we talk a lot. Sometimes people are like, my kid is having trouble adjusting to college, any advice? And I'm like, yes, buy a time machine, go back in time, send them to camp. Because I think, having two kids who grew up going to camp, they were fine sleeping at other people's houses. They were fine not being, they were always able and capable and independent. And what I'm seeing from the kids who grew up going to camp, any camp, there's a difference in how they adjust to college, but there's also a difference in how their parents adjust. I find that parents that have sent their kids away for the summer, Jenna and I talk a lot about the Facebook groups you'll get there. I know your kids aren't even in high school yet. You'll get there with the crazy college Facebook groups. But, I think that the parents in those groups, they've never had their kids go anywhere. They don't think their kids are capable. And so I think that that's one benefit that parents get if they send their kids to camp,
I agree 100. We're obviously in a totally new universe of parenting, right? Like, and the trends or the thing that I think people go to do naturally nowadays is just to helicopter or to lawnmower their way through it. We love our kids so much. They're so precious. But what we're doing, is that we're not allowing them the opportunity to struggle or be uncomfortable. And that's where the growth happens. So kids don't have the experience of, sort of getting to feel into and learn that they're resilient because parents can't tolerate their kids feeling uncomfortable. So, there's a difference between uncomfortable and unsafe, right? And our work as parents and my work as a camp professional is to, see where that line is and then provide the appropriate coaching and scaffolding to help campers and parents get through that feeling. And it's why our office is open from 8 a.m. until 10:30 at night, because parents are actually struggling with that to the point where they need the constant information. They've got to call. They got the sad letter. They can't wait 24 hours even to hear what's going on. So yeah, basically we sort of see that constant parent communication that's happening between us and our camp families as the buffer that's allowing the kids to have the experience, right?
Yeah. I
And
remember.
yes, I 100% agree. You can't just sort of like sprout wings and fly, right? It's a whole process of like, growing into yourself, learning that you are capable, learning that you can handle it when things go wrong. And if we never give them the opportunity to do that, and then we plop them, in a college where there's so many things to manage and there's so many decisions to make, and it's all on them to kind of figure it out, we've not really given them the tools to be successful. So yes, camp is incredibly valuable in that respect as well. And it's fun too.
And it's fun, too. Exactly. And I remember when Jenna's brother was his first year at camp, so he was a junior. He was going into third grade. We drove him down on his 9th birthday, so he was coming second session. And this one, when we dropped her off at camp for her first time, she'd been at sleepover parties, but that was about it. Literally, like we unpacked the trunk. The trunk of the car. She was living in the Triangle. That's where her cabin was. And she literally looked at us and was like, "Why are you still here? Go." I mean, we had been there like 7 minutes. She's like, "Get out." The other one, I won't say he had a hard time. He didn't, but he did
I'm
send
more
us.
independent.
Well, you were when you were little. You're about even now.
Still true.
Okay.
No.
He sent us a homesick letter, and I was like, unacceptable. No, we don't get homesick in our family. That's not going to fly. We go to camp and that's what we do. So I called camp and said, "I got this letter. I'm thinking maybe I got this like 4 days after it happened. Can you just make sure he's fine?" So I got a phone call back. He's fine. That was in the moment. And never again did I get a sad letter. But my other friend was like, "You have to go down there and get him. He's miserable." And I'm
Is
like,
that Mara?
yeah. I'm like, he was miserable 4 days ago for 30 seconds. He probably lost a baseball game or something. He's fine.
Yeah, I mean, also your kids know that, right? So it's like sometimes the worse the homesick letter reads, like it's like the more, sometimes the things that are in those letters are actually once you're over the homesickness, and the parent has had a Xanax or a glass of wine, it's like they don't feed us, or, there's wild animals roaming on the porch. Like it's just the word, anything they can think of to be rescued. Because in that moment, it does feel really scary and overwhelming. And obviously, we're training our staff to do the thing and to help them make that adjustment. And then how great do they feel when they get through it?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And they come home so much more grown up, so much more independent. Both of them every year, they would come home from camp able to do things. And I mean, I did too. I came home from camp one summer. Harry Nature taught me how to cook. I came home and made food for my parents. Like, that's what you learn at camp is you learn little steps in becoming an adult and an independent adult.
Yeah, and it's still a very safe and supported, and supportive network, right? Like you're in a community of people that are looking out for you. Everyone at camp, their goal is for you to be happy and successful and having fun, and our staff and us are tuned into that, right? So it's still, there may be tough moments, but they're still being supported and coached through it. So
for sure. Kind of transitioning topics, both of us know, but our audience may not know that Camp Blue Star is actually a family brand. It was started by your grandfather, and now you and your husband co-own co
co
co-own the camp. Talk about being a female owner and being the first female owner for your family brand. We'd love to hear a little bit more.
Well, I want to back up a second because I do think of my grandmother and my mother as co-owners, directors too. So, and actually when camp was founded, it was with all the brothers and the brothers' wives. So there's always been a strong female force in there, helping navigate the direction that camp goes. For me, obviously it's an incredible privilege to be able to get to do this work as a third generation. Our connection to the land, our connection to all of our alumni, the fact that we get to nurture something that's like so beautiful and really feel like we're helping and making a difference in the world. I mean, it's an incredible privilege. And to be able to do that as a woman and a mother is, that's like lights out. That's the best thing ever. Obviously, like I'm getting to bring myself and my whole heart to my work and being a woman. And, it's part of how I decipher and understand the world and how it helps to guide my decisions. And yeah, so having that feminine energy in leadership in a camp setting is very powerful.
I have two quotes that we live by that we got from your dad. One is roots and wings and how important they are.
Yes.
And the other is, I know why the duck doesn't sink because it lets everything roll off its back. And I
Aw,
live by that. And I heard it from your dad.
that's
And
amazing. I am all day, every day. My dad like
mhm,
pops into my head and oftentimes like shoots out of my mouth with something I say.
so many good memories. And, I knew your grandfather very well as well because I was a camper when he was still running the camp. So I
Right.
remember him very well.
Yeah, no, we had great, I had great, role models and yeah, and Herman was, incredible. And my dad just so funny, and so
Yeah.
smart.
Yeah.
And his gift for public speaking just,
Yeah.
like he always just knew exactly like how to get up there and own the room. And it's something that
Yeah.
I, continue to aspire to. It
Yeah.
comes less naturally to me. I'm a little on the shyer side.
For sure. So, one of the things that I feel, and I mean, I could answer this in my own words, but I'd love to hear your words, is the importance of Jewish camping. There are lots of camps out there, and there are sports camps, and there are Christian camps, and there are nothing camps, just camp. We chose to send our kids to a Jewish camp, and I would just love to hear why you feel it's important that Jewish kids go to Jewish camp.
Right. Yeah. I think, camp started because there really wasn't in the South any camp that would accept Jewish kids. And it also started because a lot of those kids, those Jewish communities were just spread out in teeny little towns. So there wasn't like a big sense of community, right? So it really started as a place where Jewish kids could come together and explore their shared religion, culture, identity, build friendships, build community. I think that the things that are challenging for Jewish communities, they come in waves. And obviously we're at a moment right now that's very challenging. But I think what makes it so important is it's another space and place that allows you to be your whole self, right? And to connect with other people who are, the same. And that feels really good. Like, knowing that you are part of a family and part of a community that has similar values. Yeah. So I think that sense of safety, that sense of identity, that sense of belonging, all very important. And then also, Judaism teaches us that our responsibility is to help repair the world. And the experiences that kids have at camp, can really do that. It teaches them to be more empathetic, more understanding, able to navigate conflict. And at camp, we have these ideals that we're always trying to infuse into the experience. And the vast majority of it is being, a good citizen, being a good person, treating other people with kindness, treating the earth with kindness and respect. So yeah, Jewish camp is, it's an incredible experience and an incredible foundation that you're giving your kids when you send them to Jewish camp.
And your story of why it was founded with small towns of kids not connected, that's exactly why my mom went. She grew up in a tiny little town in North Carolina. There was nobody else. And this is how she made Jewish friends. And then, they reconnected over the years. She ended up at Tulane. So she, found people there. And then later in life, and, same way, I decided at 10 years old, I was going to the University of Florida because I was going to college with my camp friends. And that's exactly what I did. And I did stay friends with a lot of those camp friends through college. And I think, as a parent, we could have chosen to take our kids on trips to Europe and everything over the summers. We decided we live in Kentucky. This is how we're going to raise Jewish children.
I'm moving out.
We're sending them to you. And I feel like we as parents really had partners in raising Jewish children. Now I'm going to cry.
Why are you crying?
Because I can't make me cry.
So sweet.
I'm the parent that, like, on the road, when you're driving down Canoga Road on the last day of camp to pick up, I'm the parent hysterically crying. I'm like, can I just leave them with them?
Yeah.
Because they don't want to come home. They just want to stay at camp. And
so sweet.
I hated taking them home.
I wish more people just naturally landed where you land with camp. Where I didn't have to convince them that this is actually a really great thing for their kids.
Yeah. Well, that actually, Jenna, that's your next question.
Yeah. How do you separate, you've talked about how you have two campers. How do you separate being a mom of those campers, but then also being the camp owner, especially when your kids were younger as like juniors?
It's sort of just it's a process. It's like anything else. You know what I mean? There are moments where I just have to put on my mom hat, and there are moments when I'm like, nope, go back to camp. You're doing this. So-and-so's handling it, and then we have an incredible team. So like Rose had a little bit of homesickness this summer, and, guess who was there to help? Dana Eisenman, and it got to the point where I was like, do I need to stay away from camp-wide events? Because every time she sees me, she's really struggling, but Dana was there to kind of be like, come on, Rose, we got this, and kind of get her back in the flow of camp. And I know it seems sort of silly that a kid whose parents are at camp may feel homesick, but I remember feeling that way too, because you see your parent right there and they're not, readily available. So it's like anything, any working mom, there are times where you have to prioritize one role and there are times when you prioritize the other. And mostly I want the same thing for my kids, right? So I don't want them to miss out on the opportunity to to do the hard thing and figure out that they can do it. A question there?
I think
so. For sure.
It's a lot of juggling. I mean, you're juggling kind of two personalities when you're at camp and your kids are there. I mean, I would get it, when we would go for those weeks and Howie would be the camp doctor. I remember as she got older, I'd see her coming and I would jump into the bushes so she wouldn't see me. And I remember on one of her last, it must have been maybe like senior 3 or something, and they had a social with the boys, and she came into our cabin and left a paper plate. I think I still have it, that says something like, do not walk past the library pavilion tonight. Like, we were not allowed anywhere near. And I got it. I mean, that's her space. And, she didn't really want her parents there. And I got it. And as they got older, we were like, we need to stop coming because we're infringing on their space. And this is kid space. This is not our space.
That's so funny. Yeah. We think about it from like the adult perspective, but it takes some navigating on behalf of the camper as well.
Yeah, she was very clear with her wishes. Do not come near the social.
Being direct is good. I feel like, you got to be direct. You got to be clear about what your expectation is and make sure mom understands,
It's a good lesson for life.
Yeah, for
And she's
sure.
still very clear. She doesn't bat an eye to tell me to take a picture down. So I don't always agree, but I respect
Yeah.
her wishes. Okay, so I have a quick lightning round. I didn't even tell you I was doing this. Are you ready? Are you good at lightning rounds?
Me or Jenna?
You.
Not me.
You.
I don't know. We'll find out. I'm not
Okay.
sure.
All
You'll
right.
tell me when we're done if I'm good at it.
Okay, my first question in the lightning round is, do the points really matter in Color War Maccabeah, or is it all fixed?
My God, the points totally matter. I can't even believe you're asking that.
I always wondered if they actually mattered. That chalkboard. What?
Yes,
Every
they
point
matter.
matters. Every single point.
Okay. What is your favorite, if you go back in history, what's your favorite theme for Maccabeah or Color War?
I really like the old school ones. I mean, I think it's like, like Blue Buccaneers versus White Warriors, which I feel like it might not be totally PC
I was there
anymore,
for that one. Yeah.
But those ones are the ones that were like, that was like, it came back every year. That was Maccabeah. So
Yes.
that's what came to mind. Yeah.
Okay. What is your favorite meal at camp? And I'm guessing it has chicken in it.
Yeah. I mean, I did like Shabbat dinner with chicken and, mashed potatoes and some green beans and the camp challah.
Nice.
Camp Hall is insane.
Yeah, camp challah is really good. And they don't do bug juice anymore, right? We used to get grape bug juice on Shabbat.
It's still do
They'll
grape juice.
sprinkle it in sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
I mean, the trend more is to drink water, right?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
we're just a little more
Yeah,
health
yeah.
conscious now.
Of course. Yeah. Whereas in the 80s, I was eating that powder out of the thing, by itself on the camp. That's
Oh
disgusting.
my God. You know what I
So
used
gross.
to do in the 80s? I used to, someone older than me taught me that if you pour hot chocolate and Rice Krispies, that's like a delicious breakfast.
I'm sure it is.
It was amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
was
That's great.
amazing.
What is the craziest care package a parent tried to get through?
Honestly, it's so insane. It's like, it's not even what they're trying to get through. It's really like the methods for which they're willing to go through to try to get it through. Like ripping
tried
open
once.
teddy bears, stuffing them with candy, sewing them back up, like making secret areas underneath the tampon box, like a trap.
I did it once
with,
where
like,
I opened
Yeah.
the tampon wrapper and I shoved Skittles in there, but
Yeah.
it rattled. So
Yeah.
I got busted. And when I got to camp, the nurses were like, hey, thanks for the candy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I'm sure there's something super outrageous. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes parents send like hot pots and things like that, even though we're like, it's really dangerous. Like, where are they putting this hot pot on the floor? Like, that makes no sense,
What?
But that's more like it doesn't come in a care package. It comes,
Right.
smuggled in on opening day, and then we have to hunt it out. And it's a whole process. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Blue Star was one of the only camps who was open in the summer of 2020. I remember the kids were home for school and I was on the treadmill and the news came out and Jenna was not able to go to camp that summer. That would have been her summer with HSI, so she didn't get to go. But we were waiting to see if there was going to be camp and I was not sleeping over this because he was going to be in senior too. And they both came running in. Camp's open. We're going to camp. And so my question is, if you had to name one word that described the COVID summer, how would you describe it?
So it was incredibly difficult to make the choice, incredibly challenging and rigorous to get everything prepared and to be writing those protocols at midnight, with our team every single night. And then once we opened, it was like, oh, we're doing it. We can do it. It's good. And then once we got to the week and there was no, everybody was negative when we tested, then it was just like, it was beautiful. It was like really, it was just a really sweet, beautiful, simple summer, I mean, it was not like camp operating as totally normal, like we had trouble getting staff in, some of our activity specialists, so we were, like dog walking was an option. You would like take the camp dogs walking, but the kids, because of the situation, were just so thrilled to be there. So it was like, we love dog walking.
Yeah.
Like everyone was just really grateful to be there and to be able to be in community. And I think it was very sweet ultimately. Yeah.
Yeah. Jenna and I drove Ryan down, sat in the line to get him tested.
Yeah.
And I remember, do you remember this? It was so hot out while we were waiting in the line. And we had this Yeti cooler with like snacks in it. And we were worried he was going to be so hot that he was going to test that he had a fever. So we were like, put your head in the cooler.
Yeah.
So Yeah, it was the most grateful I'd ever been that like we had been through this crazy thing through school and he
Yeah.
still got to go to camp and didn't
Yep, and
didn't
I
miss
made
anything.
the sacrifice.
She made the sacrifice, but you did get to go stay with an old camp friend
I did.
for a few days. We stopped and dropped her off on Beach Mountain with a friend who we knew had also been isolating. So the girls got to hang out.
That's
And so at
sweet.
least she got to get out of the house a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a super long wait for your brother to get into camp.
Tell me about it.
It was crazy. It was crazy. But so, I mean, I remember just being so grateful that you had decided to do it and that he wasn't going to miss senior two. For me, senior two was my best year. I mean, every kid is different, but I was
Yeah, I
like,
love
you can't miss
senior
senior
two
two.
also. You know who was my counselor in senior two? Savan.
That's so great. Yeah. Savan was my year, Jenna. And we're still in touch, me and Savan and Lisa.
Yeah.
Jenna had Lisa's daughter as a camper. I mean, it's all just,
Very
full circle. It's
Yeah.
awesome. It's awesome. Well, Lauren, this has been, I mean, we have been waiting to have this conversation with you. And it's so nice to see you. And,
You
you really did help me raise this child. And I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
She's an amazing child. Well, grown up. She's a grown up
Yes.
now.
She's
Thank
a
you.
grown up now. Yeah.
Thank you guys. This was so fun.
It was
so good to
fun.
see you.
You too. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us on the Social Dialogue Podcast. If you liked today's conversation, be sure to leave us a 5-star rating and a review and share it with a friend.
Keep the dialogue going with us on social. Find us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube.
I'm Shane.
And I'm Jenna.
Thanks for listening.